Welcome to the Rock Fight, where we speak our truth, slay sacred cows, and sometimes agree to disagree. This is an outdoor podcast that aims for the head. I'm Colin, and today we're getting an update on some outdoor industry event news that dropped last week from the show director herself. Stay tuned to find out who that is, but first, please be sure to follow and rate the Rock Fight wherever you're listening. We need those ratings and reviews, folks. Please give us those ratings and reviews and maybe send us an email. We want to see your emails. We want to hear your feedback. Send them over to myrockfight@gmail.com. You can also follow us along over on Instagram, where our handle is rockfightco. And then head to rockfight.co to sign up for Rockfight's newsletter. News from the front. It comes out every Sunday. Head over to rockfight.co, click join the mailing list, and sign on up. All right, let's start the show. Look at that, everyone. We made it about a month between episodes focused on outdoor industry events. But last week, the folks at the running event and Switchback dropped 3 nuggets of information into the outdoor industry news cycle. And those 3 nuggets prompted more questions from me than provided real answers. So I reached back out to Christina Henderson, who is the show director and former Rockfight guest for the fall running event Switchback Combo, as well as the recently announced Switchback Spring that is happening next June. And she's back on the show today to address it all. Last week's news included plans for the running event to move down the road to San Antonio from Austin in 2025, a new digital resource by Switchback for retailers, and some big outdoor brands that have signed up to exhibit at the show this fall. I asked Christina about all of those, as well as how things are shaping up for the fall and spring edition of Switchback. So welcome back to the Rock Fight, where today we're heading back into the topic of outdoor events with Switchback's Christina Henderson. Okay, we are once again joined by Switchback's Christina Henderson. Is it Switchback's Christina Henderson? Is it TRE and Switchback's Chris? How do we intro you? Like, what is the right way to talk about you?
Switchback and TRE.
It's a lot of. That's a long intro.
It is. Whichever you prefer, both.
Well, welcome back to the show, regardless.
Thank you.
So it looks like things have been busy, and you just before we hit record, you mentioned you're actually training for a marathon. What's going on with you? What has the last couple of months looked like for you?
You nailed it. It has been busy, but it has been fun. You know, I always try to come back to that. It's like, you know, we're in TRE planning mode, of course. You know, that's at the end of November. We have launched Switchback, so we're building that right now. And then you throw in, I mentioned to you, I'm training for the Chicago Marathon. So never a dull moment around here. But that's how I like it. I enjoy it.
You also told us you were at the Olympics. Did you have to do your training in Paris? How did that go?
I did. And you know, it's kind of great in some ways. I had never been to Paris. So, you know, I think running is such a great way to explore and get to see things.
Absolutely.
And, you know, so I ran, you know, the Eiffel Tower to the Louvre to Notre Dame. But I wasn't sleeping much. You know, I went to a lot of track and field events. Those went until like 11 p.m. Then you go to dinner. You're not in bed till about 2 a.m. So, you know, my 7 a.m. runs came soon, came quick. So, but I just tried to enjoy every minute and, you know, saw a lot of friends over there, met people to run. And yeah, like I said, kind of took in the sights.
Well, I'm glad we're talking running because we're going to kick off our conversation that, you know, last week there was a bunch of news that came out of your world. And the first one thing I wanted to bring up was the running event, big announcement, moving to San Antonio in 2025. So was that always planned? Like, what was the idea? Because, I mean, moving out of Austin just feels like, I don't know, they're synonymous, right? It's like I know South by Southwest probably gets all the glory, but it's like, no, the running event is in Austin, right? So what's going on with the running event and moving?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely fair question. And, you know, I want to say, like, we have been so grateful for Austin. And, you know, we moved there many years ago. We've grown TRE there. It really has become a part of the running industry and, you know, have enjoyed that time. Mm-hmm. The city of Austin is demolishing the convention center. There's an article I read that phrased it like in the spring of 2025, the convention center will be rubble. Like they are taking it to the ground. So they are obviously rebuilding it, but it will take 4 years. So they are not hosting trade shows for 4 years in the city of Austin.
That's got to be like a blow to the city, right? I mean, I would think from the economy point of view, that's probably not insignificant.
So apparently obviously they did all this research and things. And because they're going to be able to build a much larger convention center, they'll make up that economic impact quickly because they'll be able to hold larger events. But yeah, it's still like we got that news, and it was difficult to hear at first because to your point, like Austin has felt like it's been a part of TRE. We've grown the event there, but then we kind of let it set in and kind of looked at it as like an opportunity for change and growth and newness and freshness. And so, I think we are really excited now to move to San Antonio and do something different. And the response from the industry has also been very positive.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like, to your point, like they've been doing the same things in Austin. Like they have their restaurants, they have, we have our activities. But, now we get to try new things. We get to try new activities. We get to run somewhere different. We get to, just have new experiences. So, we're really looking at it like that and getting excited about what we can build in San Antonio.
Did you have to commit to any sort of like long-term, commitment to the city? Is it sort of like, hey, we want to do 4 years as well, and then we'll see where we're at in terms of where we want to live?
For now, we are focusing on 2025. So that is what we are sharing. Obviously, there are things going on in the background, but San Antonio in 2025, and then we will go from there.
You could have moved it up like, a month when it was a little warmer, got all the brands who are committed to like, everyone bring a 10 by 10. We're going to have it outside. It's like everyone bring your field marketing teams along at the outdoor trade show. It's happening. It might rain. It may not. We'll be okay.
And it might still be warm enough in San Antonio that time, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that was a consideration when we were looking at places. It's like there's so many different factors that you want to think about and, what makes TRE successful. And
yeah.
It being a central location was important. We considered the weather, like, where do people want to gather at the end of November, beginning of December?
Did you feel like it had to be in Texas, though? You kind of like, we got to stay in Texas?
We didn't feel that way. We did look at other locations, but, we talked about this on the last time we talked, but, we don't do anything without extensive research. So, believe me, we did.
Yeah.
I visited 4 cities in 4 days. We kind of narrowed it down, and then I visited them all. And San Antonio was the clear choice.
Wow, all right.
And, for many different factors, some of which I've listed, but, for anyone who hasn't been or, hasn't been to an event there, the convention center is on the Riverwalk. It is on top of the Riverwalk.
Well, that's what San Antonio is known for, right? Is their Riverwalk.
Exactly.
That's their thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's right there. The hotels are surrounding it. Everything is walkable. All the restaurants, bars, culture is all right there. So that walkability was so important to us. As TRE continues to grow, Switchback at TRE grows, that we could, the city was big enough to host that, but also small enough for us to kind of take over and create that intimacy and those, the connectivity. That's important.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Austin, I guess the reason why there's that mystique, it's like it seems like it's just one of those cities where if you say, oh, I've never been to Austin, everyone goes, oh, you got to go to Austin. So, maybe we'll end up kind of in the same place with San Antonio. I've only ever heard good things about San Antonio as well, so I'm definitely excited to check it out.
I wanted to, have you ever been?
I've never been to San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah, because what I kind of gather is, anyone who hasn't been is kind of like, San Antonio, interesting. I've heard. But if you talk to someone who's been, it's like, oh, wow, yes, like it is a great location for the event. So yes, Austin, love Austin. But again, just excited for what we can do in San Antonio.
So the next thing that came out last week as well was the announcement of Switchback Trailheads. So it's a digital resource focused mostly on the outdoor retail landscape. I'm going to admit, like, just reading the sort of release you guys put out on the website, I didn't quite exactly get what it was. I mean, I think I speculated that maybe it's sort of your version of the OR Daily. But what exactly is Trailheads going to be, or is already if you're already publishing things? What is Switchback Trailheads?
Great question. So, it is a digital platform, right? It's a resource for education and community. I think the important piece about it is that in conjunction with the introduction of Trailheads, we launched a retail roadshow. So we are working with Marcus Wolf, industry veteran. He's our editor of Trailheads. We are pairing him with a couple members of our team and hitting the road and visiting outdoor specialty retailers. So we did our first one last week. Marcus has a van. We branded it with Switchback, and we visited outdoor stores in the Nashville, Knoxville area. And so the goal is, we visit stores, talk with owners, their team, learn about, what they're doing in their community, speak to them about industry trends, ask questions. And out of those visits, we create stories and content that we produce on Trailheads. So it's kind of taking, industry trends and news, but having real life conversations with retailers on like, how is this applying to your store? What are those opportunities? What challenges are you facing? And really creating real life examples for outdoor specialty stores to consume.
It's like a media tech rep. It's just like in a van, like going shop to shop, like, like just sort of what's going on with you guys, and we want to tell the world about it, basically.
Right. And yeah, exactly. And so it serves multiple purposes, right? Like we'll go in, we will learn a ton, right? We were kind of talking about this. We don't have like a big agenda, like agenda items. It's like, let's go in, let's learn. This will continue to evolve. But we know we can do work and produce media from behind screens, but we believe so strongly in face to face and like really building relationships. So we believe that by going into the stores, we get to learn more. We will produce content that then will foster community on Trailheads, and we will learn about outdoor specialty stores, which will then inform what we do at Switchback, the education we provide there, the events that we host there.
What's the agenda? I mean, in terms of like how is this just Marcus's life now? Is he just on the road, or is it kind of like you have a handful of shops you want to see in each region, so you can kind of like what's the plan for who do you want to see? I guess
the latter. So we're kind of going at it right now as like regions, and okay, so Marcus is in Huntsville, Alabama. So kind of going after the Southeast first. That's where Switchback is as well. But we're open to, all different regions. And so again, we're kind of taking this as, one step at a time. We did our first visits last week. Didn't really know what to expect, right? We hadn't done this before. Many people don't know us yet. And it went really well. Retailers kind of welcomed us with open arms. And, I think a lot of that is because of Marcus and his industry experience. And, he's been in the industry for many years. He's a friend to many. And so, it was really fun to see the other team members who learned so much. Like they came back and they're like, we have so much to share. It's really informing our build of Switchback and really just support of the industry.
So you did your first stops. Like, what's the content and the cadence you think will come out of this? So if it's been a week, I mean, is he just sort of, obviously then it'll be story dependent and visit dependent. It's not going to be like, a stock for each thing and it's the same kind of questions at every spot. But like, when will stuff start coming out? Like what I signed up immediately, right? I'm like, oh, I'm curious. Like, what am I going to get from Trailheads? So when would I expect to see something in my inbox, from Trailheads, and what kind of content do you think it'll be like?
So to start, we are going to post on the website. So on the Switchback site, on the Trailheads portion, and we will post on social. So on our Switchback social. So it'll kind of connect in that way. The next step is a newsletter. So I think you can expect that in the next few weeks. And to your point, we're digesting, okay, what type of content did we receive? We have some interviews, we have some video. We talked about a podcast, and we're still trying to finalize those pieces. But the goal will be, or we will eventually have a newsletter that then will go out to the subscribers and drive you to the site where all the stories will live.
So looking ahead, do you envision a world where you're a little more broader industry kind of take on a little bit more of a media role for Trailheads or some other maybe property with Inside Switchback? Is that an aspiration or is it not quite, you're not even there yet?
It's a great and fair question. I would say right now it's not an aspiration. Our focus is on the specialty retailer and their needs and learning about them and fostering that community. I don't see this as becoming, where press releases live or where breaking
Right.
news is found. But again, we're still learning. So it is ever evolving. And if that's the need, I think it's something that we could look into.
Yeah, I think difference in short supply in the outdoor space. I mean, I think not to be like pat myself on the back too much, but just sort of like that's kind of what we're trying to do here. It's like there's a lot of the same. So I think if you were just like, we're gonna talk about the with the press releases that affect the people who attend, the running event and Switchback, like I think we got that. We're covered that way. So this sounds like an interesting opportunity, though, and I think the voices you're talking about. I mean, those are the ones that resonated the most with my audience as well, with our audience here on the Rock Fight, right? It's like those retail voices, the people who are on the front lines, who've been there forever, those kind of the specialty doors. They have, I think, the most interesting stories to tell. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, everyone, before we keep going, I need to tell you about our amazing teammates at Darby Communications. If you run an outdoor, an endurance, or an active lifestyle brand, there is no better PR or digital marketing belay partner or drinking buddy than Darby. They can help your business reach new heights, and they might just keep you from falling on your ass. I mean, since we started working with Darby, more and more people have been reaching out to us here at the Rock Fight because of that messaging. Look, guys, if they can help us, they can help anybody. Hit them up at darbycommunications.com. Do it today. All right, so the last thing that was announced for the running event in Switchback this fall, Switchback event this fall, you're gonna have you kind of snuck it in there, but if you read all the way to the bottom, you read Patagonia, Lululemon, Tote and Company are signed up to attend. So. What parts are they coming to Switchback exclusively? Are they going to be participating in the broader running event? Like, so some pretty big names that you've been able to lure in for this fall's event.
Yeah. So a clarification on how we set up TRE and Switchback at TRE is we have one floor plan. So it is one big floor plan. The Switchback area kind of lives within the TRE plan. So, if you have a badge, you have access to all. The Switchback area may feel a little different, but there's no walls. It all is flowing.
Yeah.
So, of the brands that you listed, it's mixed. Some are in technically the TRE space and some are in the Switchback space. If you are an attendee, whether you're a run specialty retailer, outdoor specialty retailer, you have access to all, and it will look the same to you. You can easily navigate that. So, yeah, we're really excited to have, those brands as well as some other ones. First time exhibiting at TRE and Switchback at TRE. We have a mix of established brands, like Patagonia has never exhibited with us before. Obviously, that's an established brand. And then we have some emerging brands that, are newer to the market and have never exhibited. So really exciting to see. Excited to have them at the event.
So I'm sure you can't say too much, and I don't want you to betray any confidence, but I am kind of curious some of the conversations that happen sort of behind the scenes. I mean, Patagonia specifically, right? Because ever since the, things change with how outdoor retailer is held and who attends that show, I kind of feel like they're now like the eccentric actor who the one director can sort of lure them out of retirement to be in that big movie that's coming out next year. It's like Patagonia. It's like, I'm like, holy shit, they got Patagonia to come to this thing? Like, it's amazing. So if there's anything you can reveal about not even specifically, but what goes into kind of getting brands like that to attend? Like what are they attracted to about the show that said, yeah, we're going to go try that one?
Yeah, fair question. And I think it's worth saying we've been talking with them for years. So this wasn't like hey, they called us last week. We've been talking with them for a couple of years and, hey, what are your goals? Help us understand. This is what we do. They came and walked the show. I walked them around, showed them what they could expect, what value we provide. And this year it lined up, kind of their objectives lined up with what we could provide. I think it's that mix of run specialty, outdoor specialty that they were attracted to. And yeah, like we're really excited to have them. But it has been a years long conversation.
I just hope they don't pull like a Joaquin Phoenix on you and like, in October you get an email and be like, yeah, guy, we got cold feet. We're out.
I really don't think so. Like we have talked, like, hey, here's your booth space. They're asking a ton of questions, like super engaged and trying to understand. And I think they're going to show up in a great way at TRE, Switchback
And
TRE.
I have to ask, can we read anything into this or how it impacts who we would expect to see next spring? Are you starting to have those conversations, or are you just focused on the fall event right now?
Again, fair question. I would say it's early to speak to the brands that we'll see at Switchback Spring, but our plan, we're having conversations, of course, and their focus is on TRE and Switchback at TRE, but we are talking about Switchback Spring and what that could look like. So I'll have more to share soon, but for now, I would say if anyone is curious, like, what could we expect at Switchback Spring, or, are these the types of brands, like who, how do you do this? Like, come to Switchback at TRE, like come and see, like learn about who we are, see the brands and, what we've built for the running industry at TRE and what we are looking to build for the outdoor industry for Switchback.
So I guess last time you were on was a big part of the conversation was how crowded the schedule is getting in June. It's been a couple of months. Clearly you're having some other conversations like you just said. We've had some developments for the fall show. Any further thoughts on how things are setting up for June? Does it feel like things are kind of setting up how you would expect them to? Are you starting to feel that pinch of like, ooh, June might be a little crowded? What are your thoughts on as you look further ahead past the fall event?
It is still feeling like the right time. We are having those conversations and we are continuing to hear from brands June is the right time. There are conversations. It is crowded. We know that. And we continue to be open to collaboration and conversation. But we do feel strongly, and what we're hearing is that June is the right time in 2025, and we'll continue to build from there.
All right, Christina, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks again for making a few minutes to come on the show and talk to us about what's going on. Sounds like some more just exciting stuff happening coming out of Switchback and the running event. So excited to see how this fall goes for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Colin.
All right, that's the show for today. Big thanks to my guest, Christina Henderson, and please send any follow-up thoughts or questions that you may have to myrockfight@gmail.com. Tomorrow, be sure to head over to the Gear and Beer podcast feed and listen to the latest edition of that podcast. It's also the latest addition to the Rock Fight Podcast Network. Our producer today was David Karstad. Art direction provided by Sarah Gensert. I'm Colin True. Thanks for listening. And here to take us out is my pal and yours, Krista Makes, to sing the Rock Fight Fight song. We'll see you next time, Rock Fighters.